I'm so excited to be here to share my new Monotype collection with all of you. If you want, so I'm going to be showing you each piece individually, but the link is in my profile to go to the shopping page. So if you'd like to view them online or make a purchase, you can go to the link in my profile in my Instagram profile. If you're on my email list, that link is also in your email, and I also posted the link on my Facebook page. So there are lots of places to go to the shopping page, and there are big buttons that just say buy now and add to cart, and you can take some stuff home. So that's just the details. What I wanted to do today is to show you what I've been working on. This is a process that I've developed. So monotyping is but a printmaking process where you only make one of a kind. So it's usually we think of etching and engraving, and you make many of them, and that was how bookmaking, printing started. But with monotype, you're only making one image, and yet it's a similar sort of process. So what I do is I roll ink out, I take a rag or a Q-tip and I wipe away my image. So again, this is the same piece of plexiglass I used for all of my pieces. Wipe away the image, put the piece of paper on top. You could roll it through a traditional press, but what I do is I just roll it like that, and the image comes off. So with that, welcome to those who are joining me now, and I'm going to go ahead and start going through the images, because I've got 15 monotypes that I am releasing today on my website. 12 of them are new, 3 of them I'm folding in as sort of the beginning of the series from a few years ago. So the first one is Uphill into Light, the print version. All of the pieces today are matted, which makes them super easy to just put into a frame. So this is on a creamy sort of paper. The mat is linen. So this is a really classy looking presentation for this small monotype. This one, actually, if you take a look at this and take a look at the painting over here, you can see they're inspired by the same image, but they're the reverse, because of course when you are printing on, it comes out as the reverse, but I was looking at the same piece of inspiration. So all of these images are inspired by the time that I spent in Italy, and even if the image itself didn't come from Italy, that time that I spent there, several years in my early 20s, was super important to my development as an artist, as well as my spiritual development and my conversion to Roman Catholicism. So I'm always kind of looking back at that time and mining that for more and more images. And so with things like this, yes, it's a beautiful medieval archway, but I also see it as a metaphor. It could be looking back, to the light of the beautiful North in that time. It could also be looking forward in the midst of a really dark time. These images actually I made over the last year, and I felt very much at certain points like just that need to look forward into the light through this dark passageway, which we've all been sort of passing through in the pandemic for a variety of reasons. So each piece is signed, each piece is matted. Each piece is $3.25, and again the shopping link is in profile. So this is number 2. They're all numbered on the website too, so you can easily keep track of where they're going. I'm going to stand like this there. So you can see actually the print next to the painting. Again, I'm playing around with the same image, and one of the reasons that I do that is sometimes I feel like there's more to say with just one image, and the complexity of the shapes and the shadows in a lot of these spaces, because this particular double gateway through the walls of the Orvieto, medieval Orvieto town walls, they were built and rebuilt several different times between the 13th and the 17th centuries. And you can see the remnants of that when you go, you're looking at the painting back here, that they've kind of been structured and restructured depending on styles and needs, defense needs. And again, that I feel like these are very much a metaphor for, for the times that we pass through in life. Sometimes they're dark, sometimes they're light, and hope is really this this idea of looking forward into light. And so I love the shapes of medieval and Renaissance, but I also I see in them a lot of meaning as well below the abstract shapes. So that's number 3. I do have a list here. Are we there yet? And so that really speaks to this idea of looking through and hoping to get through these patterns of darkness and light in the future. Number 4 is Pienza. So this, again, was inspired by a painting that I did earlier this year, actually as a commission. So this is the black and white version. I think it's actually a lot of fun to, sometimes I work with the image in black and white first and then go into color. Sometimes I go afterwards, after making the painting, and work with it in black and white. So hello again to people who are joining me now, and the link to the website with all of these works on it is on my Instagram profile. You can also find it on Facebook, and if you're on my email list, it's in the email. So again, this is matted to 11 by 14 inches. Number 5, Bridge into Light. So again, these are monotype. It's a printmaking process, but it's unique in that there's only one. So usually we think of printmaking as making many images from etching or engraving, but with these you're only making one, because all of it is painted onto the surface of the plate. And I'm really excited about these because I figured out a way to do all that without using solvents, without a big heavy press, so that I have space for it down here in my home studio. And so in celebration of finding this wonderful little tool which allows me to make a really nice looking impression. So if you look really closely, you can see that there, well, maybe you can't, but there is actually an indentation on the paper here from where I printed, from where I rolled this over it. And when you're using a really big etching press, you have an indentation from it, and because there's a lot of pressure that goes on to get the ink onto the paper. This paper is Reeves by BFK, so it's archival. It's really heavy duty, very thick, and one of my favorite papers. And it was always a disappointment to me when I didn't have access to a printmaking studio. So after I found this tool last year, which is the GC Palm Press, they're on Instagram too. I just went crazy and made this huge big stack of prints here because I had it all pent up, this desire to make monotypes. It was all pent up in me for, I think, the last 6 years since I had last had access to a press. So, and I know about all the wooden spoon and other ways of doing monotype, but this is what I wanted, and I finally got it. So I'm really excited to share these with you. Fede is in the wrong order. Well, we'll go back to that one. This one is actually number 7. So thanks again for joining me. Now, I'm so glad that you were here. If you are stopping in, I really appreciate your support and your interest in my work. And if you're watching later, thank you for taking the time, because just your interest means a lot to me. So this is actually from the very first set of architectural monotypes that I made, which was 9 years ago now, I believe. And this was actually for a project, an exhibition, Journey of Faith, which was at a university in Bronxville, New York. And this is St. Joseph Church in Bronxville, New York. I went there to work on this project. And I had already been working on the architectural theme in my paintings and drawings, and was beginning to work in monotype, and that was really just the beginning of this desire to continue to explore this medium. So number 7 is St. Joseph's, again, matted to 11 by 14. Welcome to Jason. Thanks for joining me now. This, I'm going to skip ahead a minute here to number 9. Again, also from St. Joseph's, and the beginning of my exploration of monotype. And again, like I said, it's taken a number of years for me to figure out how to do this at home with my new palm press, GC palm press, and my Kua non-toxic inks, and it's just really been a joy to create all of this work now that I have all the pieces together and I've gathered them all together. This is the altar at St. Joseph's, again, a part of that Journey of Faith project in Bronxville, New York from a few years ago, and the impetus for this new series, which also included this. This piece, I think, was a little bit before its time. It looks like it fits into what I'm doing currently with a lot of my paintings, as well as with these monotypes, because they're just a bit more mysterious. And in these church spaces, the repetition of the shapes and the archways pointing towards heaven, they really speak to me, but like the darkness actually really speaks to me as well, because I feel that it's a place that you can go to be quiet and to be silent, and sometimes that darkness can be embracing, and sometimes that darkness can also be show us more that light at the end through the passageway, which is more of what I've been doing in the more recent monotypes, which I'm sharing now. So this, for example, passageway with light at the end. So again, architecture, but not the church interiors. This is actually based on an archway in Assisi near the Church of Santa Chiara. And I love these overlapping shapes and overlapping arches there. We are moving right along here through my list. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this one, the church door, archway with darkness coming through. And I love this particular image. Is something that I found on our most recent trip to Italy in 2017, which I just collected so many images that then I worked through for paintings. I'm working through them on monotypes, and they've really become a metaphor over the last few years of just hope and looking forward with light, looking forward into light, into the future with hope, but also into the past sometimes, in those moments in the past that were so transformative that that your life would never have been the same if you hadn't gone through those. And sometimes our memories too can be like looking back into a moment of light. I'd like to show you too, again, these are all matted to 11 by 14 inches, which means that it's very easy to go and find a frame for them. So this, I don't have any glass in here that takes too long, but I just popped it in here to show you that how nice it can look framed. And I have these walnut frames available. You can add that on to your print for $75. It's number 16 at the bottom of the shopping page at the link in my profile. The nice thing about these, so first of all, the dark wood looks very striking and beautiful with the black and the white. I also, all of these prints today are free shipping, and even if you add a frame, it's still free shipping. So that's, our little bonus today is, even if you add the frame, still free shipping. $75 for, and I'll put this in and I'll ship it to you, and it'll be ready to hang on the wall for yourself, for a gift for somebody else for the holidays, maybe a fellow Italophile like myself, or somebody else that appreciates architecture, or even perhaps this idea of hope and looking forward. So I'm on the second page, and we are actually getting close to the end of my pile here. Here we're back. We have a couple of more church interiors before we reach the end. This one's called Basilica. This is actually based on the interior of Basilica in St. Paul, Minnesota. Forgive me if I got the wrong Twin City. I should have done my homework a little bit better, but visited there when I went to the SIVA conference a couple of years ago, and the interior is really very beautiful. Works on paper like this, small prints. This is a much lower price point than paintings, and it's a good way to sort of start an art collection. If you want to start beginning to collect art, prints, drawings, watercolors, works on paper is a good way to begin, because paintings can often cost a little bit more, but small works is an easy gift and way to start. So this piece, church interior, and this one's on a little bit of a creamier paper, and it also has a linen mat. So just really very classy presentation, and looking towards the altar and a Gothic arched church. This one is sort of more of a general memory piece. And again, part of me developing this process of monotype that I finally got set up in my basement, so that my basement studio here, so that I can do them whenever I want. And I'm really excited that I was able to create all of these this year. I'm looking around because there was one more on the website that I don't have in my pile, but it's around here somewhere. So make sure that you go to the link in my profile and check it out. It's called Fede, and it's a very mysterious, beautiful one. I can't wait for you to see it. This last one, I'm calling it Two Tourists, mainly because I need something to distinguish all of my pieces. And there's those figures silhouetted in the archway here, in this medieval scene. It's from the city of the Civittà di Bagnoregio in Italy, which is near Orvieto, where I spent several years. And it's a wonderful little side trip. Again, I just couldn't get enough of these archways, and I think one thing about it is it's actually a shape that we don't use in America, because most of our construction has come since the development of steel I-beams, and also we used a lot of wood in our older architecture, and so just the Roman arch and the way, and using stone for that, is just not something that is a part of our American architectural tradition. So I just think they're fabulous, because it's the soft curve and they're organic, and also, you know, when it's in a church situation, it's the archways pointing up towards God, which was certainly one of the things that the Gothic architects did consider and think about. So I'm just going to show you again what this looks like if you put the walnut frame on it. I want to thank you, Mary and Abby and Jason, for stopping in today. It looks so great. All of these are archival paper, archival matting, archival backing. If you get the frame, it has UV protection, and so thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. You can email me. You can send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to help you, like, design a wall or pick out a couple for a gift. If you're having trouble making decisions, let me know. If you have any questions about how I made them, I do have a blog post that I published recently that also includes some of my artistic influences. And, you know, hopefully I can do a video or something next time I get this area all set up. I had to clean it all up to show you this stuff. But thank you again so much for joining me today, and I really hope that you enjoyed looking at the work, and I hope to be in touch with you again. So thank you so much. I'm doing the Zoom wave here. I really do think that it's great that we can sort of do studio visits long distance, even though you might be far away, might not be able to come to a gallery show. And this is just really a gift that we have this technology to allow us to view things from all over the country. So I appreciate so much you taking the time, and I will be in touch with you later.